Hello, welcome to another video from the Animal University channel. Let's go for the video. Tyrannosaurus. Tyrannosaurus, NB1, is a genus of large theropod dinosaur. The species Tyrannosaurus rex, rex meaning king in Latin, often called T. rex or colloquially T-rex, is one of the best represented theropods. It lived throughout what is now Western North America, on what was then an island continent known as Laramidia. Tyrannosaurus had a much wider range than other tyrannosaurids. Fossils are found in a variety of rock formations dating to the Maastrichtian age of the Upper Cretaceous period, 68 to 66 million years ago. It was the last known member of the Tyrannosaurids and among the last non-avian dinosaurs to exist before the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event. Like other tyrannosaurids, Tyrannosaurus was a bipedal carnivore with a massive skull balanced by a long, heavy tail. Relative to its large and powerful hind limbs, the forelimbs of Tyrannosaurus were short but unusually powerful for their size, and they had two clawed digits. The most complete specimen measures up to 12.3 to 12.4 m, 40.4 to 40.7 feet in length. However, according to most modern estimates, T. rex could grow to lengths of over 12.4 meters, 40.7 feet, up to 3.66 to 3.96 m, 12 to 13 feet, tall at the hips, and 8.87 metric tons, 9.78 short tons, in body mass. Although other theropods rivaled or exceeded Tyrannosaurus rex in size, it is still among the largest known land predators and is estimated to have exerted the strongest bite force among all terrestrial animals. By far the largest carnivore in its environment, Tyrannosaurus rex was most likely an apex predator, preying upon hadrosaurs, juvenile armored herbivores like ceratopsians and ankylosaurs, and possibly sauropods. Some experts have suggested the dinosaur was primarily a scavenger. The question of whether Tyrannosaurus was an apex predator or a pure scavenger was among the longest debates in paleontology. Most paleontologists today accept that Tyrannosaurus was both an active predator and a scavenger. Specimens of Tyrannosaurus rex include some that are nearly complete skeletons. Soft tissue and proteins have been reported in at least one of these specimens. The abundance of fossil material has allowed significant research into many aspects of its biology, including its life history and biomechanics. The feeding habits, physiology, and potential speed of Tyrannosaurus rex are a few subjects of debate. Its taxonomy is also controversial, as some scientists consider Tarbosaurus batar from Asia to be a second Tyrannosaurus species, while others maintain Tarbosaurus is a separate genus. Several other genera of North American tyrannosaurids have also been synonymized with Tyrannosaurus. As the archetypal theropod, Tyrannosaurus has been one of the best-known dinosaurs since the early 20th century and has been featured in film, advertising, postal stamps, and many other media. Teeth from what is now documented as a Tyrannosaurus rex were found in 1874 by Arthur Lakes near Golden, Colorado. In the early 1890s, John Bell Hatcher collected postcranial elements in eastern Wyoming. The fossils were believed to be from the large species Ornithomimus grandis, now Dienodon, but are now considered T. rex remains. In 1892, Edward Drinker Cope found two vertebral fragments of a large dinosaur. Cope believed the fragments belonged to an agathomid, ceratopsid, dinosaur, and named them Manispondylus gigas, meaning giant porous vertebra, in reference to the numerous openings for blood vessels he found in the bone. The M. gigas remains were, in 1907, identified by Hatcher as those of a theropod rather than a ceratopsid. Henry Fairfield Osborn recognized the similarity between Manispondylus gigas and T. rex as early as 1917, by which time the second vertebra had been lost. Owing to the fragmentary nature of the Manispondylus vertebrae, Osborn did not synonymize the two genera, instead considering the older genus indeterminate. In June 2000, the Black Hills Institute found around 10% of a Tyrannosaurus skeleton, VHI 6248, at a site that might have been the original M. gigas locality. Skeleton discovery and naming. Barnum Brown, assistant curator of the American Museum of Natural History, found the first partial skeleton of T. rex in eastern Wyoming in 1900. Brown found another partial skeleton in the Hell Creek Formation in Montana in 1902, comprising approximately 34 fossilized bones. Writing at the time, Brown said quarry number 1 contains the femur, pubis, humerus, 3 vertebrae and 2 undetermined bones of a large carnivorous dinosaur not described by Marsh. I have never seen anything like it from the Cretaceous. Henry Fairfield Osborn, president of the American Museum of Natural History, named the second skeleton T. rex in 1905. The generic name is derived from the Greek words tau alpha nu omicron, tyrannos, meaning tyrant, and sigma alpha omicron, sauros, meaning lizard. Osborn used the Latin word rex, meaning king, for the specific name. The full binomial therefore translates to tyrant lizard the king or king tyrant lizard, emphasizing the animal's size and presumed dominance over other species of the time. Osborn named the other specimen Tyrannosaurus imperiosus in a paper in 1905. In 1906, Osborn recognized that the two skeletons were from the same species and selected Tyrannosaurus as the preferred name. The original Tyrannosaurus material resides in the collections of the Natural History Museum, London. In 1941, the T. rex type specimen was sold to the Carnegie Museum of Natural History in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for $7,000. Tyrannosaurus would later be honored by the 2018 description of another species of Tyrannosaurid by Andrew MacDonald and colleagues, Dynamoterror dynasts, whose name was chosen in reference to the 1905 name, as it had been a childhood favorite of MacDonald's. From the 1910s through the end of the 1950s, Barnum's discoveries remained the only specimens of Tyrannosaurus, as the Great Depression and wars kept many paleontologists out of the field. In 1955, Soviet paleontologist Yevgeny Maleev named a new species, Tyrannosaurus batar, from Mongolia. By 1965, this species was renamed as a distinct genus, Tarbosaurus batar. While most paleontologists continue to maintain the two as distinct genera, some authors such as Thomas Holtz, Kenneth Carpenter, and Thomas Carr argue that the two species are similar enough to be considered members of the same genus, with the Mongolian taxon having the resulting binomial of Tyrannosaurus batar. In 2001, various tyrannosaurid teeth and a metatarsal unearthed in a quarry near Zhucheng, China were assigned by Chinese paleontologist Hu Qingji to the newly erected species Tyrannosaurus zuchengensis. However, in a nearby site, a right maxilla and left jawbone were assigned to the newly erected tyrannosaurid genus Zuchengtyrannus in 2011. It is possible that T. zuchengensis is synonymous with Zuchengtyrannus. In any case, T. zuchengensis is considered to be a nomen dubium as the holotype lacks diagnostic features below the level Tyrannosaurini. In a 2022 study, Gregory S. Paul and colleagues argued that Tyrannosaurus rex, as traditionally understood, actually represents three species, the type species Tyrannosaurus rex, and two new species, T. imperator, meaning tyrant lizard emperor, and T. regina, meaning tyrant lizard queen. The holotype of the former, T. imperator, is the Sioux specimen, and the holotype of the latter, T. regina, is Wankel rex. The division into multiple species was primarily based on the observation of a very high degree of variation in the proportions and robusticity of the femur, and other skeletal elements, across catalogued T. rex specimens, more so than that observed in other theropods recognized as one species. Differences of general body proportions representing robust and gracile morphotypes were also used as a line of evidence, in addition to the number of small, slender incisiform teeth in the dentary, as based on tooth sockets. Specifically, the paper's T. rex was distinguished by robust anatomy, a moderate ratio of femur length versus circumference, and the possession of a singular slender incisiform dentary tooth. T. imperator was considered to be robust with a small femur length to circumference ratio and two of the slender teeth, and T. regina was a gracile form with a high femur ratio and one of the slender teeth. It was observed that variation in proportions and robustness became more extreme higher up in the sample, stratigraphically. This was interpreted as a single earlier population, T. imperator, speciating into more than one taxon, T. rex and T. regina. However, several other leading paleontologists, including Stephen Bruzat, Thomas Carr, Thomas Holtz, David Hone, Jean-Mai O'Connor, and Lindsay Zano, criticized the study or expressed skepticism of its conclusions when approached by various media outlets for comment. Their criticism was subsequently published in a technical paper. Holtz and Zano both remarked that it was plausible that more than one species of Tyrannosaurus existed, but felt the new study was insufficient to support the species it proposed. Holtz remarked that, even if Tyrannosaurus imperator represented a distinct species from Tyrannosaurus rex, it may represent the same species as Nanotyrannus lancensis and would need to be called Tyrannosaurus lancensis. O'Connor, a curator at the Field Museum, where the T. imperator holotype zoo is displayed, regarded the new species as too poorly supported to justify modifying the exhibit signs. Bruzat, Carr, and O'Connor viewed the distinguishing features proposed between the species as reflecting natural variation within a species. Both Carr and O'Connor expressed concerns about the study's inability to determine which of the proposed species several well-preserved specimens belong to. Another paleontologist, Philip J. Curry, originally co-authored the study but withdrew from it as he did not want to be involved in naming the new species. Paul rejected the objections raised by critics, insisting that they are unwilling to consider that Tyrannosaurus might represent more than one species. In a subsequent paper awaiting publication, Paul maintained the conclusion that Tyrannosaurus consists of 3 species. He pointed out that the criticism of the study naming T. imperator and T. regina only focused on 2 of the features used to distinguish the 2 new species, the number of small incisiform teeth and femur robustness, while the original study also compared the robustness of other bones as well, the maxilla, dentary, humerus, ilium and metatarsals. Furthermore, Paul argued that Tyrannosaurus can be separated into 3 different species based on the shape of knob-like bumps, postorbital bosses, behind the eyes. Paul also argued that past research concluding that Tyrannosaurus only consists of 1 species, T. rex, has simply assumed that all Tyra. I hope you enjoyed this video enough and it was informative. Please like the video and subscribe the channel. Introduce us to your friends. Good luck to you all.